Hello everyone, my name is Laylee and today I'm going to talk about the tick and the ADD indices. So what got me inspired about getting into this and creating this video was Tor from Bearable Traders. If you're not a member, you should definitely consider joining this community. They're amazing traders and you can learn a lot from each of them. So Tor is a trader who trades the pivots. He reads the level 2 and the time and sell perfectly, and he was showing this chart and was asking, okay, can anybody tell me what this area mean? And this was the first time that I saw tick and I wasn't sure what it is. So that got me excited. I was like, okay, if Tor is using it, it should be something interesting and worth looking into. So here we are today, and I want to share you what I've learned, and hopefully that's going to get you excited to learn more and maybe use that in your trading. So what is the tick index? The tick index basically compares the number of stocks that are rising to the number of stocks that are falling on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's looking and seeing how many stocks are in the uptick versus how many are in the downtick. So if we have, say, roughly 2,800 stocks and 1,800 of them are in uptick and say 1,000 are in downtick, the difference is going to be 800, and that's going to be the number that we're going to see in the tick. So what does this tick show? It kind of represents the sentiment of the overall market at that specific time. This could be helpful to kind of specify your entering and exiting, especially in a choppy market, or if tick goes below negative 1,000, that could be a place to get in and go long, or if you're long and it goes above 1,000, you can either get out of the position or short it. But this is an indicator. And the same with all indicators, you can't just use that as a basis of entry and exit. You can use that combined with your other criteria and the trade book that you have to just give you confirmation of what you need to do. So this is an example of the tick in a 1 minute. And usually the way that it is, traders get interested when it's above 800, above 600 or below 600, negative 600, above 800, below negative 800 or 1,000 numbers. Usually in the middle, 300 to negative 300, it's neutral and doesn't represent much about it. So those are the areas, those numbers 600, 800, 1,000, again, depending on what day it is, those are the points that you want to get excited and it has to get your attention. Let's look at an example. This is SPY on March 18th. I use DAS Trader Pro. As you can see, I have my pivot lines. I like to trade off of those. And I wanted to kind of look back and see how it would compare to tick. This is a tick, again, the same day 5-minute chart. And what I have, these lines, the gray lines are the 300 and negative 300. This is usually a neutral point. 600, negative 600, 800, negative 800 are the points that you want to kind of identify to keep a closer eye on these. We can see that on that day, tick was in the area of negative 600 to 600 with a few points above that. And I wanted to kind of match these two, these areas with where I had the SPY. And it was very interesting because you can see that in this point where I make a shooting star and I reject my R3, that's exactly the point where the tick goes above 600 at 2 instances. So that could be a confirmation for me that this is rejecting my R3 pivot line. And on the other hand, you could see that at the point where it kind of bounces off of my VWAP, it's where the tick goes below negative 600. Another thing that it kind of got my attention, and it's very interesting, is that I'm making higher lows on the tick, which yes, they are above 600, but this is making higher and higher. And this is just these are the points that I get bounced off of the VWAP. So again, these tick alone, as you can see, so wicky, and it's really hard to kind of look for a trend, but identifying these extreme points and using it as a confirmation will be very helpful when you are especially trading SPY. Why I say these have to be used as a confirmation and not just this point that, okay, whenever it gets above 600, you have to short it, because you can see that there were 3 instances or 3 areas where the tick went above 600. Yes, 2 of them, it rejected the R3. The other one was a breakout. So you have to combine what you see on the tick with the support resistance, with your volume, with what you see in level 2, time and sell, and the candlesticks that you see. Yes, maybe these 2 points were an indication of a rejection because I had shooting stars, but then the third time, there was no pattern of a rejection of the off of R3. So as you can see, it's very hard to find a trend, to see, okay, how does the overall sentiment of the market look like by just considering the tick. That's where I got into another indicator, which is the advanced decline line, or ADD. This indicator basically plots the difference between the number of advancing and declining stocks. In other words, it looks and see how many stocks are trading above their previous day close versus how many are trading below their previous day close. So again, this is also showing the market sentiment. I wanted to kind of be able to compare all of these together and put them together. ADD, I wasn't able to bring it in DAS Trader, so I went to Thinkorswim and I was able to bring that in and kind of compare it with the SPY and see how they would correspond to each other. The ADD can be used to confirm trends in major indexes, or it could show a potential reversal if there is divergence. So let's get into that and maybe show an example so it would make it easier to understand. So this was a few days ago of SPY again. So I went over and the top part I have the price action of SPY. The one below is my ADD and the one in the bottom is my tick. Usually you want to look at ADD and look for divergence with the underlying index, the major index. For example, if the stock price is making lower lows, which this is what we're seeing here on the SPY, but the ADD is making higher lows, that could be an indication where the sellers are losing momentum. Because this is showing me that SPY is going down, but again, the overall sentiment of the market is still strong. So I have to look and wait for potential buyers to step in and push the price higher on SPY. The other thing that is very interesting, and you can kind of put all of these together, is in this specific instance, you see that SPY opens up around 434. It moves up to 437, then starts pulling back almost to the opening price. But when you look at the ADD, the price, yes, is going up. It has small pullbacks, but still is an uptrend. So this is telling me that the overall sentiment of the market is strong. However, SPY is selling off. So when this is an example of a divergence between my ADD and my major index. So maybe in this case, I have to be looking for a reversal, a way to a place that this selling is going to stop and SPY is going to go up. So again, this is just giving me the sentiment. It's not telling me when should be my entering. Then I have to use my criteria, my trade book in order to look for an entry position. So now going back to where it all started. This is basically, again, in Thinkorswim. This was the area where you can see, which I've graded out, there is nothing happening between 12 o'clock to 2 p.m. on SPY. The tick is all above zero and nothing is below zero. So what does that show? And you can look at the ADD and the stock at the same time, and you can see that this is showing a strong trend in the market and in sentiment. That's why the tick is also showing me a strong number. So again, putting all of these together will help you make a better decision, will help you get an understanding of where the market is going, and then use that sentiment in order to make a decision and hopefully better your trading. I hope this has helped you. I find it very interesting, especially the way that I trade it, the way that I trade SPY. I think these could give me more information on the sentiment and help me get into better trades. I would like to hear from you. Leave a comment. If you are using these indexes, how you're using it, how it had helped you. Follow me on Twitter and keep it green.